One of my subscribers asked me to do an update on the Delphi murder, so after a few hundred hours and months, 1 month and 1 day before police raided Richard Allen's home, I uploaded a 4-hour and 37-minute video that was a deep dive on Kegan Kline, his father, and Ron Logan. The 4-second summary is I did not think any of those three were Bridge Guy. Almost a year ago in August 2023, after Kegan Kline was sentenced to 40 years for CSAM, I sent him a letter because a lot of people online have questions about whether or not he or his father were involved in the Delphi murders. After a lot of back and forth and drama, we finally had a phone call in February 2024 that lasted about 18 minutes total. As I'll reference later on, I had 19 pages of questions to ask him, and I only got to the first few pages because this was our only phone call. So I had no plans to release this interview because he really didn't reveal any new information about the Delphi murders. But since people online are still talking about his possible involvement, I thought I would share what he had to say. So what you're about to see and hear was filmed on February 22nd, 2024. Some people still think that Kegan Kline or his father are involved in the Delphi murders. I looked into them both about a year ago, and I wrote a ton of questions for Kegan, and he finally agreed to talk to me. So I'm waiting for him to call right now. I'm wearing orange in honor of Kegan's new prison uniform colors. Should I practice saying, "Hey, Kegokio"? I know I'm the one who gave him the nickname Kegokio because he lies so much. So people might say, why are you interviewing somebody who you said lies so much? I don't know. Here we go. So he never called that night. I sat there for 2 hours in front of my computer on a Friday night, hoping a convicted pedophile would call me. It's like, what is my life? Anyway, he finally called early in the morning one day and woke me up. So if I look tired, it's because I was. I had 19 pages of questions organized by topic to ask Kegan, and during this interview from last February 22nd, 2024, I was only able to ask him about 4 of the 19 pages. So I was hoping to have another 5 or more phone calls with him to ask him the other 15 pages of questions, so I did not want to push him too hard on certain issues on the first call that would cause him to not want to talk to me again. Also, I did not want to talk too much about his separate CSAM stuff. Nothing I could say to him or yelling at him would change what he did to these girls online or change the person he is. So me yelling at him and saying he's a horrible person would mean nothing in case anybody wonders why I did not do that. The phone connection was not that great, so certain times it cut in and out, so I tried to type up everything the best I could. I edited a little bit out for clarity, but nothing suspicious or secretive was deleted from our conversation.
An inmate at the Indiana State Prison. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse.
Hello.
Hey, Kegan.
Oh, hey. Hey, Tom. How are you doing?
Good. Sorry about that connection before. I fixed my microphone.
Oh, it's fine.
A lot of people still think that you and or your dad has something to do with this, and I know you've given a few different interviews, but hopefully some of my questions and your answers will provide some more clarification to people.
Right.
I do have these organized into different topics. So first up is the Anthony Shots profile. And I'm just going to read, I have these in a document, so excuse me for reading them, but there's so many that I just want to make sure I get them correct. So if police knew you were not in Delphi on the day of the murders based on your phone data, why did they use the Abby and Libby tip line to collect information about your Anthony Shots profile?
Yeah, that I have no clue about. He told me that, and I'm like, dude, you got my location. They told me that. Like, I know how phones work. You can ping, like, a certain, area. They could tell I was in Peru. You know what I mean? They knew where I was at. It's like, what the?
Well, it's never been said exactly where you were that afternoon. Was it your cousins or who else? I know you said your grandparents, but apparently that was not true.
Yeah, my grandparents, but they said it wasn't true, but they have the information. I mean, they know I was on that road and everything, so they knew where I was.
Because I thought your grandmother at some point said to somebody that you and your dad actually did not go see her that often in person.
Yeah, I don't know why that could be like. We'd go there like at least 3 times a week, sometimes 4 or 5.
So that afternoon on February 13th, when these murders happened, you were not at your cousin's house? You were at your grandparents'?
Yeah, I don't know what cousin everyone thinks that I was at his house. I don't really have that I'm really close to besides Jared, my cousin Jared, and he lives like in and that's, I think 3 hours away from where we live.
It was Travis Trexler.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen him in years. I don't know how long the last time I seen him. I mean, it was a long time ago.
Well, the police said you were on your phone looking at adult movies, so you were doing that at your grandparents' house?
Yeah, that wasn't true either. I don't know. Maybe if I had it on my Safari, you know what I mean, and another thing, I don't know. Yeah, I definitely wasn't doing that at their house.
All right, so you're saying you were definitely at your grandparents' and not your cousins or anybody else?
Yeah, no, yeah. Like, we went to my grandparents that day, and then we came home, and yeah, I mean, that's all I really do all the time is just stay at my dad's. I don't really leave too much.
And did they also collect your dad's location that afternoon? And if so, why were they seemingly trying to pin the murders on you two?
Yeah, I have no clue. I don't know about my dad. They had it. I mean, they searched his phone too, so I'm sure they had it.
So it's been almost 2.5 years since the police made that announcement that you and your dad have obviously not been charged with anything related to Delphi. Do you think either of you will ever be charged related to Delphi?
No, never. I mean, they have both our DNAs. They know where we were. They have everything.
So you denied writing some of the Anthony Shots chat comments, and people have wondered if other men had access to the Anthony Shots account, but there are two things that don't add up to me. Number one, police asked the Comcast internet service provider for the IP address that was accessing the Anthony Shots Instagram and Snapchat accounts, and as far as we know, it only showed your house in Peru, and that's why they raided your house on February 25th. Did you ever see a report showing any other IP address or locations that access the Anthony Shots account other than possibly you when you're in Las Vegas?
Yeah. Another guy. And I've told them that. And they know who he is. They've went to Las Vegas and checked him out and everything.
You cut out. So it was your roommate, your friend from Peru, you're saying, who you lived with in Las Vegas, also had access to it?
Yeah, for sure. And he lived literally right next door.
In Peru?
I mean, he was my neighbor, literally right next door.
Well, the police were saying, how would he even have access to your phone? I don't want to get too deep into that, but or your CSAM stuff, but all right, I'll move on to the next question. So I did this interview back in February 2024. It's now July 2024. I sent a message to this former roommate that Kegan referenced, asking him if he wanted to respond to these comments by Kegan. He said he does not care what Kegan says or thinks. Kegan's own father does not trust him. And the roommate said Kegan can rot in prison where he belongs. So I don't think Kegan will be getting any Christmas cards from the former roommate. As Kegan said, the police looked into this guy. He's never been charged with CSAM. So I don't think anybody watching this should start thinking that this other guy is involved. I never delete YouTube comments, but please do not write the roommate's name in the comments below or I'll delete it. Kegan admitted to looking at videos and photos of girls from around 10 to 13 years old, but he refused to admit looking at videos of younger children. This phone conversation was in February and Kegan was still appealing, so I don't know if he was lying, hoping that those charges would be dismissed, but they were not. So I think he should be in prison for at least another 30 years before he's up for parole. So he'll be in his 60s by that time, if he's still alive. On August 25th, 2023, a few weeks after he was sentenced to 40 years plus 3 years probation, Kegan appealed, and a few weeks ago, on June 27th, he was denied. Auntie Gull let the appeals court borrow her gavel and said, "You tried it. We denied it." So I was saying, like, actually, it's a little bit similar. So if some other guy used your Anthony Shots accounts, you would have later seen the messages and or photos that other guy sent and received. So did you ever log into Anthony Shots' profile and see messages you didn't remember sending or receiving?
No, just, but I guess, like, whatever use the program, they can access everything, even deleted stuff.
All right. So some people said, did you ever give or sell access to any of your social media accounts to make money?
No.
Because some people wonder if Richard Allen, the suspect in the Delphi case, somehow had access to your Anthony Shots account. Is that possible?
No.
I didn't think so, because it would have showed his IP address in Delphi if he accessed it, and it did not.
Right. No.
So your Anthony Shots Instagram is still active. I wondered if you deleted it at any point and law enforcement then took it over to see who was messaging it. I know you deleted the Instagram app on your phone, but did you ever delete the Anthony Shots Instagram account?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I deleted that and
you deleted the profile or just the app?
Yep, the profile.
Well, it's still up. So do you think police took it over trying to find information?
Yeah, definitely. I had to have, because I completely hard deleted it or whatever it's called.
So in your police interview, why did you act like the actions of Anthony Shots were not the actions of you, Kegan? You said in your police interview, like, Anthony Shots did that and not you.
Yeah, because not all of it was me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to deny and say I didn't talk to girls, you know what I mean? But they were talking about, like, little kids and stuff. And that definitely was not me.
Next up is communicating with Libby German. Using the Anthony Shots profile, did you first catfish another girl in Delphi who you later found out was friends with Libby when they had a sleepover?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
So
I didn't catfish her. I mean, she knew who I was.
But you were using the Anthony Shots profile, right?
Yeah.
So for their privacy, I don't want either of us to reference their names of these girls that you chatted with other
I
than
don't
Libby.
know their name.
But was the
I
sleep
don't even know their.
but was the sleepover friend of Libby a girl with a first name that started with a K, and she was part of that family you knew, who maybe her cousin was supposedly the girl who saw the guy with the ski mask looking in her window?
No, definitely not. And I don't know where they came up with that, but doing that. That's crazy. When they told me that, I was like, what? Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, I have another section about ski mask girl and that stuff.
Yeah.
So you said you met Libby around February 1st or 2nd when they were having a sleepover, but February 1st or 2nd was the middle of the week. So I don't know if you just didn't get the dates correct. So I was able to get some data from your Anthony Shots profile on Kik, and it showed you updated the Anthony Shots photo on Sunday, January 29th. Could that have been after you chatted with them at the first sleepover?
Maybe. I'm not sure even the dates. You know what I mean? I talked to a lot of people out there.
And I know this is like 7 years ago. So Libby and her friend may have had another sleepover on Saturday, February 11th, which is 2 days before the murders. Did you chat with them that night also?
I don't think so, no.
Well, the next day, Sunday, February 12th, you posted on your real Facebook that you started as a table games dealer in Las Vegas. Why did you post that if you were in Indiana?
Because that's what I wanted to do, and I was moving out there anyways.
Because some people thought maybe you had later backdated that to act like you were in Indiana as an alibi for not being involved in the murders. So you're saying you were hoping to go to Vegas to become that, and you just were kind of pretending online to actually be doing it?
Yeah.
One other question was it because you knew you were going to Las Vegas on vacation on February 21st and that you could take photos in Vegas, and you wanted your Facebook friends to think you were working in Vegas and not sitting at your dad's house unemployed?
Kind of, yeah.
All right.
I felt like a loser, you know.
Did Libby's friend start chatting with you during the sleepover and send pics or videos that included Libby, and then Libby thought Anthony Shots was cute, and then she started following Anthony Shots on Instagram and Snapchat? Is that how it kind of worked with her?
I think so. I don't know. I don't really remember everything, but yeah, I think something like that, yeah.
So maybe after you were chatting with her friend at the sleepover, then Libby started following you and DM'd you, or you DM'd her?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's how it happened, yeah.
Well, you had to have been surprised when a teenager started following your Anthony Shots account. So you probably clicked her photo and profile, correct?
Well, I wasn't really surprised, but I think it was more on Snapchat, and then they added me on Instagram or whatever, followed me or whatever, because on Snapchat at the time it was big for people to like post, like, I can't remember what it was called, like pose for post or something, and like it like QR thing or whatever.
Yeah, QR code.
Pop up with their ad. Yeah, so people would do that a lot. So it wasn't really crazy to get, 30, 40 people added in one day.
I wasn't familiar with this QR code for Snapchat, so I Googled this, and it says, a Snapchat QR code, also known as a snap code, is a unique and scannable QR code linked to a user's Snapchat profile. When someone scans the code using their Snapchat camera, it instantly allows them to connect with the profile, eliminating the need for manual searches and friend requests. For anyone wondering if they just heard Kegan say pop up where they're at, and wondering if Libby's location on Snapchat was being tracked, the murders happened February 13th, 2017, and the Snap map was introduced on June 21st, 2017. So as far as I know, at the time of the murders, it was not possible to track people's locations on Snapchat. So you liked one of Libby's December 26, 2016 Instagram posts where she was sticking her tongue out, but someone said you later unliked Libby's Instagram photos. Why would you unlike her photos, I guess, after the news came out?
I don't really remember ever doing her Instagram. They said I talked to her, and like that day, I don't remember doing any of that. Like, to the best of my knowledge, I didn't, anything. I didn't even really use that Instagram.
Well, it showed, somebody saw that her photo on December 26th, it showed Anthony Shots liked it, and then later apparently unliked it after the murder. So was that maybe because you were concerned police would look into you as chatting with teenagers?
I don't really know. Like I said, I don't remember even going to her Instagram. So maybe it was the other guy. I'm not sure.
What do you remember about the chats you had with them during their sleepovers? Anything with Libby's and her friend?
Yeah, it was just casual talk. I don't know. I would talk to 20 or 30 people at one time.
Other than Libby and her sleepover friend, did you chat with any other girls from Delphi?
No.
Well, I thought there was at least 3 girls in that town who Libby and, I don't want to say the names, but...
Right. I don't know their names. I don't know who the girls were. They kept trying to say that I was friends with all these people. I had no clue.
Which town did you tell girls that Anthony Shots lived in?
I don't know.
Would it depend on where they lived to make it seem like it's far enough that they would not know Anthony Shots?
Yeah, far enough away, yeah. usually other states, you know.
So if you were to set up an in-person meeting with a teenage girl, how would they get to you or you get to them if you did not drive that much?
I never did that. That was something you know what I mean? It was over the phone. I never wanted to meet up with anyone.
Well, I thought
obviously I'm not that guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, but I thought in your sentencing, there was some kind of document that said, at least with one girl, you tried to meet, or at least said you wanted to meet in person like 30 times or something.
No, that was complete bullshit. I tried to say in my thing that, like, me and that girl were actually really cool friends. I talked all the time, and she was the only person I would really, like, talk to a lot, you know, and talk to over time. Me and her were complete friends. She knew who I was in person. Like, she didn't think I was completely.
I asked him if he tried to meet her in person, and he said no, but then he later said she knew who I was in person. So I'm not sure what was up with that in-person comment, unless he meant over FaceTime using video.
She had my real accounts added. Yeah, like, we were completely friendly. And back to, when I came back and I got a girlfriend after I moved from Las Vegas back here, I told her, hey, I can't talk to you no more. I got a girlfriend. We're about to move in together. She was like, okay. And she got all pissed. And then 3 weeks before my sentencing, what's it called, impact statement or whatever.
Yeah, victim impact statement.
Her name, obviously I'm not going to say it, but her name was marked out. And I immediately knew who it was because they she's going to say that. She said I was on video chat with like a bunch of black dudes and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really have any black friends. Like, why the would I be FaceTiming a girl with a bunch of dudes around me back home? There'd be no way. What the like, me and her FaceTimed all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? She knew who I was. I would never. That was weird as fuck. Yeah, and she said I tried to meet her. I never met her. She said I sent her money for pictures. I sent her money one time. It was like 10 or 15 bucks so she could get food. That's all it was. And yeah, that's like, and my lawyers are sitting there and I'm telling them like, hey, are you going to object to any of this stuff? Because none of this is true and none of it's, you know, factual. And he's like, no, we'll just get him in your appeal. Like, what the man? Like, it's crazy. Like, my lawyers were terrible. They were terrible. All right, hey, man, when's a good time to call back? Because the guard's telling me I got to lock in. But, yeah, if you just send me letters, I'd probably be the easiest way right now to get a hold of me.
All right, thank you for calling.
All right, Tom.
Bye.
All right, bye.
He said to send a letter, but I didn't really want to send 15 pages of questions and give him time to think about the answers. So February 22nd, 2024 was our last phone conversation, and around early May of 2024, he sent me an online message saying that he wants to move on with his life and not really talk about Delphi anymore. My main focus in talking to him was to talk about the Delphi murders. I wasn't really looking to grill him or catch him in lies about his search history for CSAM. So in case anyone's wondering why I did not call him out on that, it's because mostly I was concerned about talking to him about his interaction with Libby. I'm not trying to be an investigative reporter. I was just asking him questions because it didn't really seem like anybody else was asking him questions, and I had obviously 19 pages to ask him. So I guess we're going to have to wait until Richard Allen's trial starts in October to find out if Kegan Kline had anything to do with the Delphi murders. On December 20th of 2023, Kegan sent me a message online saying, being transferred. Well, they told me earlier I'm being transferred to Miami prison because of Richard Allen. Even though I don't know the guy, I can't even talk to him, I can't even see him, he's in the locked up part of the prison. I'm so pissed. I was safe here. Now I'm going to be going to the worst, dangerous prison in Indiana. It's BS. So if something happens to me or I don't reply, that's why. Yes, I was triggered by the lack of commas and periods. Richard Allen doesn't use periods either, or apostrophes. Thanks for watching.